Hello everyone, my name is Karond. Welcome to a Buddyhood Brawl League Season 2 and yet another Division 1 game. We've seen these two players before. It's Rarator against Kittenpaw. We're gonna follow this game from Kittenpaw's perspective. You can see that the rank is pretty similar. It's just 200 in advantage for Kittenpaw here. Army of Kittens versus Blunting Crawler. Hunter in Darkness. Both warbands are scattered randomly around the area, scared by something. Kittenpaw has Marked for Death, Rarator has Wordstone Rush. Gonna be an interesting game. Both of these players are at the top of the table, and since we have seen them both win in previous games, it's gonna be nice to see them pair off against one another. I believe this is the 4th or maybe 5th game. Kittenpaw and Rarator has desynced quite a few times. I really do think Kittenpaw should look up, because there is some kind of factor here taken into account, because he never desyncs this much whenever there is other Mordheim games from other tournaments. You can see that Kittenpaw needs to get Trice, Grafer and Grigor's Memento. Alright. We have thankfully skipped ahead of the deployment phase, because there is no deployment phase. What are you talking about? There is the Hunter in Darkness. Both warbands are scattered. That's what it is. You can see that Rarator gets to move with 4 units here before the first unit of Kittenpaw gets to move. Kittenpaw a bit lucky here still. You can see that most of his team is pretty gathered in the lower center half of this map. Might not be as good of deployment for Rarator despite the initiative advantage here. We'll see. Is that Sealot? Is that one of the... Yeah, it might be one of the ranged ones. Then that's not too good for him. But otherwise it looks good. One thing I never figure out is these zombies here that we see from Rarator, they are without a Necromancer, so they're gonna be really slow and really not as powerful as they could be with a Necromancer. Maybe he's leveling one up, maybe he has one here, we will see. Yes, this is the ranged one. Fluffykins, really lucky with the dodge roll here, but might get hemmed in here and suffer a terrible fate, we will see. Can meanwhile take a quick look at the top left corner of the screen here, and we see the morale of the two warbands. 194 for Kittenpaw, 122 for Rarator. The difference is quite big, but it's also completely alright since Rarator is the undead and zombies do not count. This could also mean that since you do play with zombies, you can be difficult to route, yes, but it can also mean that you tend to lose a lot of units if you do start to lose. And I think that Rarator is the underdog here in this match. It's gonna be interesting to see what Rarator has done so far. We've seen him in one early game when he completely crushed Aenir, and the biggest victory so far in the entire Buddyhood Brawl League of Season 2, including both of the divisions, Division 1 and 2. I know that we do field more games from Division 1 than Division 2. I'm going to try and rectify that, but we do have some streamers in Division 2 as opposed to Division 1, so you can catch a few of the Buddyhood Brawl League games from there. I would recommend forwarding you towards the channels of Game Night, Ragnarokos and Mordjax, as well as my own Karond's Mordheim channel. So you see, we do get to pick up quite a few games from Division 2 already as it is. Not a terribly perfect position here, failing at the terror test. That's good for Rarator. It doesn't really mean anything, because there will be a new terror test taken as soon as Captain Calico here has his own turn. But if Captain Calico had succeeded in that terror test, he would not be needing to take another one when his turn starts. That's the disadvantage of terror actually. It's very good as a defensive skill when someone attacks into you, but not so great when you attack into someone. Unless they've saved red pills or blue pills, and it could be nice to get rid of them. Well, at least the red pills, the blue pills are inconsequential. So the vampire here locking in the leader of Kittenpaw. After a really rough start, his 2 ranged units are locked down. And I think that Fluffykins can at least disengage there, but yeah, as Kittenpaw is hovering over that, you see the ghoul Esmeralda probably going to surround Fluffykins here. Trice Grafer and Grigor's Memento. Those are the 2 units that Kittenpaw needs to kill and get the token off. And you can already see that, oh, I think this is actually, yeah, this is a false cloud. This is not a real poison cloud. You can see the cloud up in the corner there, yes. And if you, it's an unfortunate bug that happened with one of the latest patches of the game, that when you do throw a poison cloud, there will come up another poison cloud on the map nearby that's completely false and doesn't do anything. It's just this visual bug. I don't know why he's throwing down a poison cloud. I guess that protects his idol, maybe? Well, the terror didn't really matter, like, at all. It's not like Captain Cali would have been able to strike back anyway. Yeah, maybe it's good to have placed down that poison cloud then. We do see... Oh, it's not even on the actual wagon, so... Alright, alright. Don't really know why that poison cloud was thrown by Rarator, but here we are. Liberator's Boon. Minus 16 morale to Rarator then. Yeah, that vampire is definitely within striking distance of Mittens here. Gets off the free dodge. Might be in for a pretty fast game here. Yeah, here comes Esmeralda, probably going to lock down. No? Where's he going? I thought he would lock down Fluffykins. The Zealot Archer here. Otherwise the Zealot Archer would just disengage. At the very least, this game will not be edited whatsoever, since they already start more or less in combat from turn 1. And we don't want to miss anything of what they're doing, or any kind of delays that they are doing. Just like, yeah, we do see Fluffykins suffering here. These 2 henchmen of Rarator are at least level 8, since they have 5 red pills, both of them. Zombie charged and did another attack, and the ghoul is dual wielding, and that costs 5 red pills to do 2 attacks with. That's if they get the 5th pill at the level 8, we know they are at least level 8. So pretty leveled units here. Didn't seem like they had too great of equipment though. They would have done much more damage if they had. Yep, the dodge kicked in here. Gotta be careful with the counterattacks, we don't want a 5th desync. Counterattacks is, contrary to some opinion here, which is really strange for me, but it's well known in the general Mordheim community that counterattacks is the absolutely biggest concern when it comes to desyncs. Nothing causes a desync more than the counterattacks. So what you should do whenever you have a counterattack is that you wait for the countdown timer to actually start counting down. You only have 5 seconds, but don't hit it as soon as possible, because that's usually when you start to desync. Alright, alright. See that Pumpkin is also at least level 8. Alright, alright. You could have gone in on the other end and then kept a dodge, but On the other hand, it's not like Esmeralda here is gonna start beating on the on the Platinum anyway. It's gonna be full-on attack on this trapped Zealot. Leaving a little bit of space so that someone else can come in and start hitting the ghoul here. Let's see if they manage to do it in time. It's gonna be interesting to see if there is a Necromancer for Rarator, or if Rarator is actually leveling up a Necromancer on the side. It's one of those units that, just like most spellcasters, with the exception of the Purifier, they don't really come into their own until they are at least level 6, when they can get their first mastered spell. Because at level 6 they get 6 spell points, so they could have picked up a new spell that they could have mastered instead of starting with the original spell. Purifiers probably want to start out mastering Comet of Sigmar, and they do that at the level 4, so they are useful much earlier than most other spellcasters. And even if you do get the Necromancers up to mastered Call of Vanhel at level 6, remember that they don't really have anything else going for them besides buffing up henchmen. So you have to take that into account too. That you are losing the power of a hero to buff up some of your henchmen. But until then, zombies are not super great unless they are supported by a Necromancer, and you can see that that might actually hinder Rarator here. I don't see a disengage option for Captain Calico, but that was to be expected. So I was saying, Rarator is a little bit hindered here by the zombies, since it was randomly determined where units start, and he does not start with all of his units nearby. It seems like at least some of these zombies will take quite a few turns on them to get into actual combat. That could help turn things around here for Kittenpaw. You can see that Kittenpaw is really lucky here with the deployment in the south. Most of his units are very gathered. And that could be very hurtful for the vampire, the leader of Rarator, Van Gore. See another zombie moving. Besides that, I do kind of like the zombies. They are very powerful once they get going with a Necromancer support, and you cannot forget that there is a great combo here with the Globadier, which is that they are immune to poison, so the poison clouds don't really hurt them. Patches going in here. Yeah, we have quite battle here. Bit lucky, failed the parry roll here. Not that great for Rarator. So that Patches was not level 8. I don't know what is the purpose of delaying here. Does Kittenpaw really think that this Executioner could kill the vampire in one go? I don't think so. I don't think that's likely. See, Gregor and the Globadier are the targets. The Globadier might be difficult to get down since they always try and move away. See some support coming in here. I think Captain Calico wishes that he had a dodge dance right now. This definitely puts a clock on Captain Calico. If it was just a vampire, he could probably be expected to survive. But now with a vampire thrall coming in here, it's not looking great. You see Kittenpaw waiting here to make sure that the countdown timer is actually clicking in. We'll see it here now again. 5, 4, 3, 2, attacking. Good. Hoping to avoid a desync here. I'm sure they've both been over this. Exactly what you're supposed to do to avoid a desync. Fluffykins also at least level 8. Which target? I will probably focus on the ghoul here. Remember that the ghoul has enough surface space left here for someone else to come in and start hurting on him as well. So the ghoul is definitely the target to choose here. The ghoul is the one that's going to die much faster than what Olaf, the zombie, is doing. Oh, there's actually a... oh, right. Very nice. Yeah, that's not too great of a hit chance. Wonder what... is he going to try and put down the pyre, maybe? Well, if... alright. That should actually block that entrance. But does it actually help your own units? See, he's outside of the pyre himself with sunshine. Gonna use the luck trinket here. See if that pays off. Seems like Captain Calico is destined to die. I don't really need a dodge stance here. I remember that he can still do an attack here if he succeeds at the dodge stance due to his passive. One of the great things about Witch Hunter captains. Function just like the mercenary captains, but with dodge instead of parry. Lots of wordstone nearby too. I think he's a bit too slow to actually get in there unless he can be lucky and get a charge off. Maybe. Well, there are two openings. Yeah, he can actually get in there. Ah, no, he can't. He can't. Alright, alright. But why is... it actually doesn't matter if Sir Pouncelot gets in there or not, since you saw that the Executioner here went into the Vampire Thrall, and if anyone is going to kill the captain, it's going to be the main vampire. So if he wanted to focus down the vampire, he should have gone in with Executioner against the vampire, but he didn't do that. The Vampire Thrall was the injured one. The Vampire Thrall is of course also the easiest target to kill, even without being injured. And not much space to get in on the Vampire Thrall here. So Madcap mushrooms being targeted on the Executioner. This is a nice thing about consumables in general, that many of the consumables you can actually give away to units that can otherwise not use consumables. I think There are a few of them that you cannot give away to others, which include talismans, and I believe there's something more that I'm forgetting at this point. But almost any other consumable you can give away to someone. It's a nice way to buff up, for example, impressive, since the only impressive that can actually use consumables is the Maiden of Sigmar. Let's see if Fire Purge triggers here. It's the passive of the Executioner. Makes you burn for 2 turns. This makes it so... yeah, here, Fire Purge did trigger. This is really good against other impressives and very tanky units.
Has started.
Does make sure that the Executioner has the highest damage output out of all of the impressives. Provided he hits, of course. It's a nice little extra bonus damage. Someone walks into the poison cloud. Who could that be? And then immediately ends his turn. Probably one of the zombies then. Yeah, you can see a zombie standing in the poison cloud already. Well, this doesn't look good for Mittens now, does it? I wonder if the Globadier can probably kill off Mittens here, scoring a first kill, giving Rarator the lead. Not a bad thing, I think, to get up here with a hero. Rarator is outnumbered up here, so it's good to get some support and make sure that you don't actually die too fast. Indeed, the Globadier could probably be really good up here, since targeting a poison cloud on the zombie could make both of these zealots die slowly. Gonna see if he can come up here with the Globadier. Should probably target Mittens here if you're not going up there. Mittens is almost dead. Mittens is the next one to move, by the way, too. He needs to be careful with that Globadier. I mean, remember that there is a Templar Knight nearby, and the Templar Knight could potentially just go out here. They won't care about the zombies, and they can just go in and maybe even kill this Globadier. Alright. Since the Globadier seems to be a bit of a low level, and he's just going into a place where he cannot disengage from him. I think the zombies are in an ambush stance, so it should probably be fine. Probably well thought out by Rarator. Bit annoying having this poison cloud here, since it's not actually a real poison cloud. See that it failed the dodge, so no counterattack incoming. Might see 2 more attacks though. Yes, one more, let's see. I think this vampire is pretty leveled, yes he is. Heavily damaged Mittens. Using the +3 movement from capturing the idol. Where is he going? Seems to want to preserve him. I think that's a good call. He might even die here, but he's gonna take damage for 2 turns. Unless he's lucky to make a poison resistance check here. I think there were 2 Wordstone clusters at the back that one of the Templar Knights just walked over and didn't care about. So you can go and get them. Do something useful. Yeah, this is really not good damage by Esmeralda. Like, if Esmeralda had a blue weapon at least, it would be a much more dangerous thing to lock down Fluffykins. But that's clearly 2 white weapons, I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, this vampire thrall might maybe might just need. Let's see here. It's yeah, Sai from Kittenpaw. It's not like he has a great chance of hitting anyway, and he does hit one more time. So that leaves her with 24, and I don't think that's enough to die from the fire purge, but it's almost there. Which makes this a pretty odd choice. I think that Kittenpaw should probably not have done that last attack. Should probably have tried and removed a parry attempt from the vampire, since she's gonna take fire damage here, right? And then she's gonna get hit by the executioner, and the executioner will kill her, regardless of if this last attack had hit or not. The only thing that would make that relatively good would be if this vampire thrall actually has some healing available to her. See, a death trap. Alright, alright. Bit unusual. It's not something that you often see. You can see the damage here in difference, 38 to 50 to 51. That's 2 blue weapons, so it's much better for Kittenpaw here than it is for Rarator. Rarator is a little bit underpowered here when it comes to equipment. They've had some pretty close games in the... This is a... yeah. This is gonna hurt. So they've had some close games with the desyncs before, and might be that Rarator feels that he's going to lose, and then he maybe didn't even bring his best equipment. It's possible. I got a message from Kittenpaw just a minute ago here saying that Rarator has switched out some of his equipment, and as a matter of fact, he pointed to one instance, which was the vampire who used to have a purple heavy armor and now does not. You can see that Winston Van Gogh has 30% armor. Which is odd, isn't it? 30%. He has a helmet. That's 25%. Nothing really gives 25, unless it's a... Yeah, it needs to be white heavy armor. That's a really strange, because when you do kill someone, you can be looted when it comes to shields and weapons, but helmets and armor, they are not looted. But you do get to roll if you're looted at after you die, on the before your stuff disappears. You have a much higher chance of not coming back with all of your equipment, and then you can lose some equipment, and that includes helmets, amulets, pendants, and of course armor. But usually you do actually retain them. You have to be a bit unlucky. So weakening himself here, Rarator, I don't think that's Seems that he's resigned to losing this, but trying to do as much damage as possible, maybe. I should probably have used that beforehand then. Yeah, because the damage is completely different here for Pumpkin as opposed to Esmeralda, and that might be a decisive factor. Maybe Fluffykins can live. Of course, Fluffykins needs to be able to disengage from this as well, and if these two flagellants are standing there, then he won't be able to. And we see a kill. Congratulations there. It means that Kittenpaw takes the lead, 1-0. Really nice. Probably a bit expected here when we see the differences. You can see that Esmeralda was exactly level 8. Count out -9 morale for level 0 henchman, +1 loss for each level that unit had. Means level 8 for Esmeralda. I'm hoping we get to see some kind of action here. We can see that there is an advantage to Kittenpaw, I think. Well, Captain Calico here might not be living for too long, but look at the bottom center here, and you can see that most of Kittenpaw's units are relatively close to one another, all 4 of them. And then you have the fight on top of the building, where lots of Kittenpaw's units are also grouped up. So Kittenpaw has these 2 groups where all of his units are, with the exception of Mittens, the flagellant that ran away, didn't want to die a glorious death. And Rarator is more spread out, and he needs to focus on where he wants to be. And I don't think he's doing that right now. I mean, for instance, while I don't disagree with, oh maybe I do, with the attack that the Globadier did on Mittens, consider if he had actually thrown in a real poison cloud into the fight where the Executioner etc. is. There is a vampire and a vampire thrall there. They're immune to poison, so the only units that would take damage are the powerful units of Kittenpaw. So he could have done that, but he didn't do it. So he's not really using his offensive power the most, I think. I might have to regret saying that if Mittens die here by poison, but it's still up in the air if he's gonna do that. Even so, I think he had 46. Yeah, he needs to be a bit unlucky to actually die from that instant. He could, if he picks up a stone, he might die from that too, so we'll see. Yeah, Fire Purge, 14 damage. Only 8 wounds left remaining. And you can see that since Captain Calico did 20 wounds on her earlier, so if she had just had 28 now, you know, the Executioner could just kill her anyway, because he does more than 28. But he does have a healing drought. Alright. Alright. So I don't know if that's gonna do anything really though. Doesn't the Executioner do at least 38 damage? I think so. I do think so. And we see the score evening out there. So 1-1. But it's not really even here, as Rarator has lost a henchman, Kittenpaw has lost his leader. Thankfully, he did have a luck trinket on Captain Calico. We'll see if that's going to play to... Well, we're not going to see that anyway, but we hope that he doesn't take too much of an injury. He might be lucky here. Why don't you loot Captain Calico? Why don't you loot Captain Calico? Wow, that's probably the worst decision I've seen. Wow! That's such a poor decision by Rarator. It's like he wants the Vampire Thrall to die. I mean, he could have gone out of that. You see, there is an open path and everything. You could have gone out. You have a lot of blue pills left over. You could just have run out. Instead, we are gonna see maybe here another death. Yes, we do. Completely unnecessary. You could have run away, and there you see kind of experience telling. Kittenpaw ran away with mittens to make sure that he doesn't die, and Rarator is just, yeah, I don't care about this unit anymore, just go and die. Didn't even loot Captain Calico, and I think that's a big telltale sign that Captain Calico is gonna get full recovery. If you do loot someone, they have a bigger chance of getting an injury. I'm just saying that. Kinda like this switch, so because the zombies obviously that just hold him up. He can't move anywhere because they cannot disengage the Templar Knights. It's nice having this option, doing damage. Not taking too much. Quick incision is a nice skill. -3 melee resistance for this Templar Knights for 1 turn. Of course, it doesn't come into effect that much, since if anyone else moves into Templar Knight, it's gonna get an instant +10 melee resistance due to his passive. Using Crimson Shade, does he actually go in front of the zombie then? I think he does. 49, yeah, he's gonna go in front of zombie, but that means it was kind of, I don't know, was it necessary to switch weapons again? Yeah. I guess the shield helps protect against the ranged drag that we saw. Or indeed the Globadier, if he's gonna make another shuriken throw at it. 26 to 39 damage from Vincent van Gogh. Is that a blue spear? And you can see that he has a helmet, and it looks to be still in heavy armor. It just switched out the purple heavy armor to white heavy armor, and I don't know why. I get the feeling that Rarator is really not bringing his best team to this game, because he wants to preserve equipment, and maybe he even wants to preserve some of his better units. Although we can't really complain about that, as we did in several other games where people actually do field in low level units. I'm not saying that's bad. I think it's good to conserve units, and I also think it's really good to start getting reserves here, because it will suck to start over at level 0. But and Rarator is fielding mostly high level units. It's just that his equipment doesn't seem to be that good. And I think that he has better equipment. I mean, if we're going by what Kittenpaw said in the Steam chat here, he definitely does. He just elected not to bring it this time around, since he has been on the brink of losing in these things a few times now, and he fears losing all of his good equipment, since he thinks he's gonna lose. And if you have that kind of mindset, of course you are going to lose. I think the very first game that these two players had against each other was going to be a bloodbath, and Rarator could very well have won with the first desync. Gonna be nice to put in a bit of a fear test here for patches. Gonna make sure that Olav might not take as much damage. Of course, he succeeded the fear test now, so he's gonna be immune for this turn, but for the next turn. Bit unlucky here, but that's what you get for you picking a name like that. If there's something you can start to tell now, I think it's that consumables are starting to take a bigger role in the PvP here. When we did start out, almost no one brought any consumables, because they're white consumables, maybe they didn't have many consumables. But now we do see lots more of it. And I think... well, it's mostly because you do have more slots to put it in, more inventory space, but instead of putting it into gathering up wardstone and your opponent's equipment. But consumables can, and often do, turn a battle around. For example, as we're gonna see here with the Sir Pouncelot, the other Templar Knight of Kittenpaw, using Crimson Shade against this zombie, making sure that he gets to attack twice in a row with that Great Hammer, could mean that that zombie ceases to exist. And I think it was a purple great hammer as well, so it's doing a lot of damage. Alright, Globadier, can you start doing something useful? You have two main battles where you can start doing real damage. It's either here, helping Vincent van Gogh to survive, or going up and throwing the poison cloud on Fluffykins, making sure that both zealots of Kittenpaw is poisoned. Either way, you do more damage putting it on the Templar Knight and the Executioner here, but yeah, here we go. Here we go. Actually going up there. Just one turn too late, but here we are. What can you do? Does indeed target Olaf. Very good. Did actually poison both of the zealots here. I like that. Maybe he can do an aim now to make sure that he gets a hit in. Just does a regular shoot and misses. Would have missed with an aim anyway, but might not have had any bloopers. You see, 19 damage, 24 damage. I don't know if that's enough. How much damage does poison do? Is that maximum 25? Yeah, you need to be a little bit unlucky. No, 20. Oh, okay, so he's gonna live. So Mittens is going to live. Definitely. Would be kind of nice to pick up the search loot point here, because you cannot take damage from that. But you can take damage from oh, avoid the traps as well. Traps can do a lot of damage. Good haul. Well, let's see if he wants to gamble with any of the wordstones. That seems to be an indication for it. It's not that bad to pick up the white weapon trash anyway, because if you do win, you do get a percentage of the loot left over from the map, and that means that the white trash is not counted among that. Yeah, just going to try and survive. This is what the vampire thrall could have done as well. Alright, where's Pumpkin going? Might going up there to circumvent and maybe get to the Globadier. Remember the death trap though, where the ghoul is. Could trigger that. And wants to try and charge, but could do an ambush. Let's not use an ambush here. Yeah, I remember that the ghouls are not immune to poison, which is kind of strange when it comes to a lore perspective, since they deliver poison, etc. And they are supposed to be very strong against poison. I can see that here, that Kittenpaw is repeating what he said in the Steam chat that you didn't see. To take no good gear and actually get Captain Calico, yeah. It seems that Rarator has actually downgraded some of his equipment for this game. Gonna see a switch here, and the purple great hammer coming into effect again. Yeah, if he hits both attacks here, he's gonna die. So you can see the powerful effect here that the Crimson Shade actually had for Sir Lancelot. Being able to instantly kill the zombie. It was a very good use of that consumable. The Dreg here looks very susceptible. Let's see if we can loot something here. Yeah. That's gonna make sure that Olav counts as being looted, so he has a higher chance of being injured. And he has a much higher chance of losing that white equipment anyway. It's one of the things that we have this rule in the Buddyhood League Brawl Season 2 that you cannot loot white equipment of your opponent, which while well-meaning, because you want to leave your opponent relatively intact to be able to at least fight somewhat instead of just having white daggers, it also means that it's actually a little bit teethless. Why? You can probably disengage from that. You have lots of space behind. 2 switch weapons? Oh, good lord, Rarator. Oh. Anyway, so imagine if the target has white weapons and a word stone on them. If you loot the word stone, they have a much higher chance of losing the white equipment as well. It's basically just the same as almost taking the white equipment. And that's you also have a higher chance of getting an injury. So while well-meaning, it's relatively toothless of a rule, since as soon as you loot something from them, they are probably going to lose the other stuff as well anyway. And why would anyone want to take the white equipment? You saw that Mittens were intentionally leaving out some 2 white equipments from the search loot point, and you can kind of figure out why it's not really worth. Oh, don't take any fall damage. Remember that he's also poisoned, and while he does have 44 wounds left over, which means that he's not going to die from the poison, he needs to be careful. Oh really, do you want? No, 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 don't stay there. No, no, don't stay there. Remember that this flagellant in the bottom flagellant here did not go into an ambush stance, so someone could go down there and kill the fluffykins there. Yeah, good. Get as soon as we. I mean, I know you can't get too far away, but get as far away as you possibly can in an ambush stance behind that, which means that the ambush stance is going to be useless. You can just run into him. Do you actually want to go in there? Take the poison. Focusing down Olaf, alright. Globadiers can do a lot of damage, intentionally or unintentionally. Lots of consumables from these 2 players, so you can see that it's having an effect. Gonna see a counter attack here, please don't desync. Quick incision, nice. Quick incision is one of those skills that mainly helps the allies to do even more damage to a target. It's good when you're bunching up against someone, and if Rarator's gonna keep with mostly melee heavy units, it's very good against ranged heavy focus that most of the Buddyhood League community members tend to focus on. But if you've seen a certain trend here when it comes to the league tables in both of the divisions, is that the warbands that do not focus on range and that have more of a melee heavy focus, they are all at the top of the table. While the warbands that focus too heavily on range, they are all at the bottom of the table. So you have to start questioning in how good is range actually. And it's not that great. In high level PvP it's more damaging than melee, for sure. But when it comes to starting with a level 0 warband and leveling up, etc., melee is much more powerful. It does more damage than range do. It's not bad to have a little bit of range too. You want to be able to force your opponent to come to you and soften the targets up, etc. But not having too much range would be my advice, because you will get tied down and eventually you will just lose because of that. And we saw what happened here for Kittenpaw. Both of his range units were tied down earlier on in the fight. Imagine if he was for instance Carol, who has mostly ranged units, he would have been tied down all the way around and would have been unable to fight back properly. Still need to repeat here that this is not a real poison cloud. Yeah, he's starting to do quite a bit of damage on Vincent van Gogh. Why would he want to stay here? That's the question. Like, he's gonna die with his white heavy armor and his blue spear. It's entirely possible that Rarator, like a blue spear, it's such an unusual weapon of choice.
A new round has started.
Tying up Onslaught, Kidney Strike, kinda nice, so that's minus 15% melee resistance. Seems like that's a big focus of Rarator here. Quick Decision, Kidney Strikes, it's all about lowering the melee resistance, and that's really good if the more melee units that you do have. Because when you're swarming targets, it means it's easier to do damage, and you do even more damage because of it, since you hit more. And that's why I think he yeah, maybe he wants to, yeah, I don't know. A little bit of a ranged presence is good, as we said, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. Patches. Gonna face an all alone check here. It might not be too great for him. You see the damage here is not really good for Princess Bubblegum either. It might be a blue weapon and a white weapon, I think. Or it's just two whites. What can the Globadier do here? I mean, he should probably just go down and kill Fluffykins. I think he should do that. He can definitely make it there. He has such a good movement, and if Rarator uses the minimap, he would know exactly where that unit is. Alright. So trying to poison two characters that are already poisoned. They're not gonna take another tick. So it's only the initial damage. That was not worth it, since it was only 15 damage. The 3 red pills. Bit lucky there for Kittenpaw that you succeeded at one of the poison tests, but still 30 damage for 3 red pills. No. Should have done something else. This is the place where you should have poisoned something earlier. Maybe Rarator has been confused when he sees this poison cloud and think that they are actually taking damage. Kinda like this, disengage. Could go up here. Okay, running away. The problem with running away is that you're not going to get your Web of Steel. You could have gotten that if you got up the stairs, and still only one target could attack you, but it would have been Web of Steel. Could have survived for a very long time though. Not saying he's gonna die, but not saying he... I mean, if any of these units follow him, he's not gonna have enough for a parry stance or even and definitely not Web of Steel. And they can probably catch up to him. He's in white heavy armor. Even if he has armor proficient, that's still only 6 movement, which is the same as these two units have. I assume, because I think that Kittenpaw has mastered armor proficient on his Templar Knight Snuggle Bunny. Yeah, you can see. Kittenpaw definitely using the minimap, going to see where did the vampire go. Where is the vampire? Whenever that vampire icon lights up, as he moves his cursor, then he knows it's just under the cursor. There he is. There he is. Marking him out. This is what Rarator should be doing as well. This is exactly what Rarator should be doing. He should have gone and killed Fluffykins with the Globadier. But no, I don't want to do that, he says. And yeah, maybe why not? I mean, you would have gone close to the Flagellant, you would know that have charged you. We'll see what he does instead here. Wow. Not really moved at all in this time. Game's dragging out a bit. We haven't seen a few kills in a while here. Still 2-1. Rarator killed Kittenpaw's leader, and in return a vampire thrall and a ghoul has gone down for Rarator. So they are even numbers right now because Kittenpaw has an impressive. Alright, what is Pumpkin's objective here? He's gonna go into the zombie and help. Oh! Yeah, get the. Oh! I didn't even see that. That's cool. That did actually more damage on Rarator than it did on Kittenpaw though. 2 of Kittenpaw's units, 2 of Rarator's units, but slightly more damage randomly done to Rarator. Yeah, gonna focus down the zombie. I remember that the zombies makes you no morale losses given, so the score could rack up here. That means that Rarator is gonna take more injuries. For zombies it's okay because they can only take a select few injuries, namely I think severed arm, severed leg, maimed hand or lost eye, missing eye. So then but they have a higher chance of being utterly destroyed as well. So I have to watch out for that. I think it's 20% minus the level in the chance of being completely destroyed. That means dead, which is a lot higher than anyone else. I think the usual one is just only 5% for a chance of dying. Yeah, doing the same tactic here with the purple hammer. And oh, okay, should probably have used it on himself. But both of the 86% chances hit. And switching back to be a bit more defensive. Yeah, it's time to get out of there. You're gonna take 15 to 20 damage more, most likely. Unless you fail, succeed at this 26% test here. Just get away, just like Mittens. So this is experience. This is what Rarator was not doing with the Vampire Thrall. I just want to repeat that once more. Oh, they have really good loot on this map. Fantastic loot. You see that? 2 more Wordstone clusters here, and then we're more 2 other Wordstone clusters further down, and yeah, wow, barely a fragment. Fantastic. Hopefully doesn't get -2 movement from this. Really needs to get away. Got a warp effect. What did he get? Got -2 movement. Yeah, that's what you get for being greedy. Although I don't think that Rarator is going to come after you anyway, but that's definitely the worst penalty you could have gotten. Worst in effect. Oh wow, have to watch out for that. That's melee resistance, right? Yeah, it is. Kittenpaw saying, of course. Well, it's not like he's had too much bad luck here, I don't think so. Rarator has hit a lot, but starting to miss as of late, but remember Kittenpaw has had quite a few dodges and parries with a low success chance and succeeded at them. And it seems to be going Kittenpaw's way here. I don't see Rarator winning this, especially since he's not bringing his A game to this. Both of these players are already through, going to make it to the upper division. The top 6 of Division 1 and top 6 of Division 2 are gonna join together in a new league and play one game against each other. And the bottom ones are gonna do that as well, and for the bottom division it's going to be the top 4 of that division that ends in the playoffs, while everyone in the upper division are already in the playoffs. So these two players, we're gonna see them in the playoffs later on. It's all a matter now of in what condition they are going to be like when they enter the playoffs. Focusing a little bit more. Oh, succeeded at the all-alone check. Alright. Succeeded at the fear test too. Wow, that's lucky patches. But he's gonna die soon, as well as Olaf, and we welcome that. Well, not that the zombie is dying here, because he doesn't lose any morale from that. He needs to lose the ghoul or the vampire thrall or even the vampire to really end this game now. Because I think it's already decided who's gonna win this. It's all about what kind of injuries we're gonna see. Yeah, fantastic loot. Gonna go after the zombie. I would have guessed. A miss. See how clunky the attacks are of the Executioner. Was that a fire purge trigger? I don't think so. And another miss, alright. Kittenpaw is exaggerating, I think. It's not that much bad luck. Alright, Snuggle Bunny, where is he going? You see he has a purple great axe. See 2 more clusters, it's just wow. Couldn't he put himself in a better position? Like, you see, he could get surrounded if someone climbs up there. He's not blocking that path. But he at least has 1 parry attempt, and that paid off. You see it, both Rarator and Kittenpaw are, when they have a chance to perform a counterattack, they are making sure that they are not causing a decent care. They don't really want to replay this for a 5th time.
A new round has started.
Alright, up to Rarator to do something. 5 units in a row here needs to do some real damage now, and otherwise it's gonna be good night. Completely useless. Why would you want a kidney strike now? I mean, yeah, okay, maybe you would have hit anyway then, but we didn't know. Fine. But it could have been nice to be able to do a counterattack from the parry. Let's see if he would have gotten one. Patches looks like he's in a big trouble here. Might he die? Yes, he does. And you see 40 morale. That means that he was level 5. So we're up to 2-2 here. A leader and a henchman gone for Kittenpaw. Henchman and a hero gone for Rarator. Switches to a bow. Yeah, I think you can see where this is going. You know who she's hunting, right? She's hunting Fluffykins. Going to try and catch up and do the last little bit of damage that's needed. Olaf might die too then, so we're gonna see 2 henchmen here of Rarator probably dying in short order. It's gonna be the last of Olaf's turn, I think. Succeeds at the dodge. Well, I don't know, maybe this can force the Flagellant to move into the other poison cloud if it's still in effect, but it might not be. I haven't kept up. But why wouldn't he just go after Olaf again? Remember that Sir Snuggle Bunny is not in a stance right now, so it's gonna take full damage. Imagine if Rarator actually had a purple weapon that he could use in this fight and had a purple heavy armor. It would have been a much closer fight this, but you can see Sir Snuggle Bunny is just gonna survive this for a long time. But that's not the case for Vincent van Gogh here. What will the Global Day... Ah, come on! You had 2 nice shots there on the Flagellant. I hope you're gonna do something that's more useful. A Poison Cloud here would be nice. There are 3 targets that could be poison. Finally! Managed to poison all 3 of them, I think. Thrice Greyfur doesn't seem to be level 3 yet, otherwise he might have thrown down the second Poison Cloud. I think he only has 5 red pills. Probably level 2 based on his amount of wounds. Do you want to get those? Yeah, get one of them, at least. Really good loot on this map. Fantastic. See the fight going on there between the Templar Knight and the Vampire. I'm not gonna want to be too near that. You could actually go back up here and leave the idol of Rarator inside one of the chests to be able to pick up another wordstone. I think you should do that. Let's see what Fluffykins does now that switches to a bow. Loses 2 blue pills from that though. We know that Princess Bubblegum, or whatever she's called, is out hunting for him. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, it's not that bad though. I mean, you could have gotten damage. Run into 2 traps so far with Fluffykins and hasn't suffered damage in either one of them. That's good. Yeah, Olaf is not long for this wall, and neither is Olaf, the other zombie. It's important that Grigor puts himself in between if he wants to save Olaf, the zombie here, with an F. Otherwise the Fladinum should just run into him. That's so nice. Look at the top right corner. Roll poison resistance success 1 target 2. Say 2% chance of that, then yes. Yep. I'm gonna make that. Kinda like that. So a death trap if he wants to go after the zombie. It's not gonna be too effectful, but just a little bit of damage. But where do this ghoul wants to go? You could pick up the idol from Kittenpaw here and take off 16 of his morale, and then you would get +3 movement, and that could enable you to get enough movement to hunt down Fluffykin. Taking a little bit of damage. Have a little bit more. Been a bit unlucky Rarator so far with the parries and dodges here. I think Kittenpaw's made almost every one of them. Missed. Missed. He's gonna live at least for one more turn here. Yeah, I really like the poison resistance roll. That was kinda nice. But I really do think that ghouls should have some sort of poison resistance. In lore they are very resistant towards poisons. I think even in the tabletop game they're actually immune to poisons and diseases, so... But it would have been a bit too much if the zombies are also immune, but... See the Dreg Archer, what is he gonna do? He's kind of a low level, isn't he? Just like the Globadier, it's not really on the same level as Kittenpaw's units. I mean, henchman wise they seem to have the same levels, leader wise they seem to have the same levels. It's just, and with some, pretty much with all heroes now. I think even Fortinau, the Vampire Thrall that died, and the Globadier and the Dreg and even Bubblegum here, they're not that leveled as opposed to Kittenpaw's heroes. The Executioner doesn't have too many levels, you can see that, but the two Temple Knights are definitely powerhouses here. And that's also something that is bringing Rarator down, not having the same amount of levels on the heroes to where the real power is. And it could be an indication that Rarator might have been saving some units, I don't know. Although he did bring these 2 Vampire Thralls, I think, when he faced Ainir as well. And I remember Necromancer in that. So chances are probably high that Rarator is keeping that Necromancer and leveling him up slowly. He was very low level back then, level 1 or 0. Whoa, bit unlucky, but this is what you get with a great sword, by the way. You see, he has 27% critical hit chance, so at some point it's going to start to yield a result here. And I think this is gonna be finally some morale loss for Rarator, going to end this game. We'll actually get an answer here on what level this Dreg actually is, because yeah, he's gonna die. He is gonna die big time. I'm gonna do a charge here now. No, yes, gonna focus on the normal one, okay. Alright. Since he wants to do it to Purple Great Hammer again. Alright. Wow, manages it right away. So Valentin Rasvan was level 5. Level 5. You see that from heroes they always lose 12 morale when you're level 0, +1 for each level. So he did have a little bit of a of something at least. Yeah, just go into the Globadier. Just tie him down. It's almost doing the same amount of, like, almost all of these are doing I don't know what Rarator is doing. I mean, I like the traps, don't get me wrong, and I like the plans that he's trying to do it. I mean, it's just that the execution is always so poor. He always has his units right next to the traps, and then they sort of like don't have a use anymore. If you're both gonna take damage from it, I mean, you spent 2 red pills to place those traps that could have been used for an attack, so you need to do more damage with them on your opponent and on yourself. Yeah, he's tough to hit, Vincent Van Gogh, I will give you that. You can see he has 10 awareness and 10 shield specialism. Wow, really? So he has mastered awareness. That takes 15 alertness to do. That's quite a lot. And he has mastered shield specialist, but shield specialist is sheep. It's a sheep skill.
A new round has started.
Awareness is a very expensive skill, and mastering it, wow, he's invested a lot in Vanguard to have good melee resistance here. Probably maybe too much. Mastered the awareness, that's kind of neat. I don't think we will see that from anyone else. Yeah, but of course he was gonna be able to disengage from that. The problem is, yeah, he could have at least tried an attack now. Yeah, I mean, Flagellant is in sidestep, but now parry stands alright. Good. If he succeeds to parry, at least he gets 1 attack from that and then another attack from the 2 remaining red pills. That's at least something. What kind of damage can you do? It's not that great of a parry chance, but I think that Kittenpaw has made almost every single dodge and parry so far, so he's been lucky with that. But I think Kittenpaw has missed slightly more here than Rarator has so far. Rarator didn't miss much in the early... it doesn't really matter who has more luck here or more luck there. It's relatively irrelevant when you can see that the power distance is quite big between these two. Still, Rarator has managed to get 2 kills. Kittenpaw is up to 4 right now. And it's going to be 5 when the zombie goes down. And I think this Globadier is really in a dangerous area. Keeps going with the poison globes all the time. They are already poisoned. Definitely the guy who's done the most damage, I think. Globadier. Yeah, death traps and poison globes. Seems to be the tactic of Rarator. Hopefully he can get that Necromancer up a bit. We'll see how much, what kind of injuries Rarator gets, but it didn't look good with the Dreg, I have to say that. Ugh. The Dreg wasn't looted so far, that's good for him, but he did suffer a critical hit before dying, so he's gonna have a, what is it, a 10% higher injury chance than anyone else. I don't. This is a clear thing wait, almost every single Buddyhood community member except Game Night, they don't use the minimap, and this is why they are so poor tactically. I mean, look at this. Princess Bubblegum uses perception. It costs 1 blue pill. She's trying to find where Fluffykins, the rightmost Zealot, went, and perception is only useful if you're nearby. So that's not gonna help. And you can actually see on the minimap exactly where he is. So why use perception? You're just gonna fall further behind. It's, yeah, go up there and leave the idol, and then take another wordstone. Looks like Kittenpaw is not gonna make the secondary objective here, but neither is Rarator. Could pick up the idol here. Bit of a disadvantage for Kittenpaw is that both of his really injured henchmen here are almost in the same space. Yeah, I could pick up the idol. You're just by the wagon, come on, pick up. Okay, skips the idol entirely. Doesn't want the +3 movement. Trying to cut in. Oh, really? Can you actually get to that? Get to Mittens? See, this is what I'm talking about. Imagine if he had just picked up the idol. He could have reached Mittens and killed him and picked up the wordstone. 2 clusters and his own banner again. Ah, Rarator. Why are you doing this to us? Yeah, Pumpkin is not looking too great either, by the way. Yeah, not enough movement, but that's entirely your own fault. Entirely your own fault. You could have had enough movement. And did you move efficiently? I didn't actually get to see that much from this angle. This game is really dragging on, isn't it? Almost up to 1.5 hours, and it's kind of long for a Buddyhood Brawl game, which usually lasts between 30 minutes and 1 hour. Gonna go down and kill the zombie here now. Yeah, like why not? He's in a parry stance. Oh, so he might actually live here. All right. Still has 1 red pill left for the counterattack on the parry here. Let's see. Yeah, bit unlucky here again. This seems to be the case. Kittenpaw misses slightly more, but he goes through parry and he makes every single parry and dodge attempt thrown at him. So I don't think either player should actually complain about the RNG here. But 5-2! 5-2 so far, not that many units left for Rarator to move around with. And he's trying to get here to do another kill. But he's not going about it efficiently, so I don't think Rarator deserves to get another kill. And will he be able to get one? It might actually end after these Templar Knights and... Oh, okay, let's see. Where... See, that's also really poor by Rarator. You saw Princess Bubblegum? You see where she went? She's going exactly the same path as Fluffykins did, which means that just further strengthens the theory here that Rarator does not look at the minimap whatsoever. If Rarator had looked at the minimap at all, he could have just cut through the buildings, and then he would definitely be able to see Fluffykins there. But not doing that. And I don't think the ghoul was actually planned like that either. It was more likely to try and flank, and then oh, suddenly accidentally saw Mittens and didn't have enough movement because he didn't pick up the idol. Yeah, I think he might actually catch the ghoul here. Yeah, with the last blue pill probably. Oh, he's upstairs. And another death trap. Yeah, still going. He's going to die. Okay, just barely didn't make it. All right. Putting into another dead trap. I hope they are not a cause for these things. I don't think so. But they do produce a freeze moment in the game when it has to pause. Okay. Oh wait, maybe he's going up there with the... We talked about this earlier. There was a space in the rear there for... I can't get through there. But there is a little space where you could go... Yeah, he's definitely thinking about it. He just needs to bypass this fence. I don't think you can get through there, you have to go around. That's probably the shortest path, yes. Yeah, can make it next round. Alright. If the vampire goes down, that's grim tidings for Rarator, but since Globadier those are the only 2 units left remaining besides the vampire here. Poorly no parry, Rarator wrote earlier, and that's true. He has had really remarkable bad luck with his parry attempts. Kittenpaw has just flown by all of that 50-60% chance. Yeah, have I overcome 1 parry yet? Yeah, you've overcome far more than Rarator have. Rarator has barely managed anything, and he's had... you've only had like 20-30% chance most of the time to succeed. And you managed that, Kittenpaw. Well, Rarator's had considerably bad luck with managing his defenses.
A new round has started.
Yeah, he's talking about his success against the vampire strictly. I don't know if Vincent van Gogh's actually failed a parry attempt yet. You see how big of a difference it would have been as a purple weapon and a purple heavy armor, and I think that maybe Vincent van Gogh would have won the duel. Definitely put in more damage earlier, taking less damage, had more wounds left over now, doing more damage himself. So Snuggle Bunny doesn't really go into stances all the time. He's in a parry stance now, but usually he's not in a stance. Succeeds at the 45% chance here. Just adding another success for Kittenpaw when it comes to making those rolls. It's not really any damage, and I think that's gonna be his last turn, Vincent van Gogh. When the 2 Templar Knights come in here, it's gonna be goodbye. Even despite his great melee resistance there. So, what is the princess doing? Still can't believe that she went up north. Minimap. Minimap, always check the minimap. You can do so many things with the minimap. Minimap is what separates a decent player and a beginner. Just use the minimap. Kittenpaw doing that all the time, we've seen it throughout the game. Can't really see where she is until her turn is over though. Yeah, now should probably want to look now. There we go. I don't know why you want to search for the Globodere. Maybe with the nearby flagellant. Yeah, just going into safe mode here. Moving away. Far, far, far away. Where the units cannot die. Thus preserving the lives of 3 henchmen. Yeah, that's not a real poison cloud. And there is the Globodere though. Let's see, actually, maybe that is a real poison cloud. No, 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 no. No, it's not. Wait. No, I don't think it is. Trying to go to a safe place. That gassy room looks very inviting. Oh, this is a zombie that's not. Oh, the ghoul that's now trapped by the executioner. I don't think there's a jump down point from that kind of house. Seems like it's a single entrance up the stairs. Yes, there is. I remember that the executioner here is in ambush mode, so as soon as he steps down there. Yeah, I'm gonna flirt here. Exactly, Kittenpaw is saying that he's in an ambush, he's in an ambush. Just don't move fast into it. It moves into it. Oh, and triggers the death trap. Alright. Is that actually... yeah, it is freeing him up. But he still can't... I don't know. I don't know, that seems like something that could have caused a desync here. It's nice. It's cool to see that that's actually how it works. Yeah, I want to test something. Might not be the best thing to do that at the end of a 1.5 hour game here, but could have done that in single player. But sweet, 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 sweet. Could give some tactical viability to the death trap. Triggering ambushes without actually receiving them. There we see. So the vampire thrall is taking the exact same path as poor Fluffykins, and that means that Fluffykins is pretty much always gonna stay out of her line of sight. Well, the vampire thrall does have +1 movement and maybe +1 blue pill, depends on how leveled she is. Ooh, this is cool. Yeah, do a nerve shot, but do it at 3%. I mean, you have nothing to lose on that. Well, actually, you probably want to move in an area where you are more safe. It's not worth a 3% chance then. You know that the vampire thrall is coming. And while it might not be an issue, because I think the game might end here after the 2 Templar Knights. Yeah, take that shot. This is good. You have 1 blue pill to move into cover here. Ah, could have happened. Could have happened. Remember that nerve shots cancel Web of Steel and make sure that you can't use it, as well as parry. So it's really nice, and it's something that's definitely recommended to most ranged units in this league, since a lot of players are going to focus on parry much more than dodge, because heavy armor and parry, heavy armor and parry, heavy armor and parry, that's going to be a trend that we're going to see. Time for Sunshine to finish this damn ghoul. No? Yeah, come to me, I wouldn't have said that. Yeah, just put it up there. Well, I hope that the pyre is actually within effect of the executioner now. Is it? Let's see. No, it's not! It's not! Like, why put it down if it's not... We did this last time as well with the pyre. I didn't put it in a place where it was actually helping him. He always helped his Templar Knight in the house, but it didn't help either Calico or the executioner himself. Wow, I'm getting a little bit tired here. When is this game gonna end? It's gonna take forever. Oh wow. Another failed parry here for Rarator. Miss. Yeah, Rarator is not happy about all of his missed parries there. Snugglebunny is a little bit hurt, but no one's gonna kill him. He's been hurt before. Been there, done that. I remember that the other Templar Knight is gonna come in here and he's gonna do some attacks as well, so... Ah, it's lucky. Finishing off the second parry attempt, so no parry attempts left and only a few wounds left for the vampire. We're gonna see him die now. We're definitely gonna see him down. Here we go! Not a fantastic hit chance here, but... And there we go! The vampire is a shield of deviation and a blue shield, alright. That's kinda neat. Yeah, Kittenpaw is satisfied.
A new round has started.
And failed the test, so congratulations Kittenpaw. That's 6-2 and oh, 7-2? Did I actually miss someone dying here with the score? Yeah, I must have been done that. Let me switch that out. So thank you for watching and see you later.